Welcome into Jags AM. I'm Kainani Stevens. Brian Sexton and John Oehser are with me today as the preseason is quickly wrapping up as we get ready for the final preseason game of the year on Friday against the Atlanta Falcons. So this week, a little bit like a game week as far as practice goes. We'll start off with big thing number one, which is dynamic defense. Darnell Savage, who's been playing with a red jersey on all of training camp, finally got that off, so was able to fully practice this week. And he talked to the media earlier this week a little bit about what he sees from the defense.
And I feel like it's rare that you have a defense that's dynamic, because normally you think of offenses are dynamic. But I feel like this defense is dynamic. It lets the playmakers go make plays. So I think it's a perfect fit for me.
John, we've talked a bunch about how the players have been taking to Ryan Nielsen's defense. A lot of them feel like they can play like themselves, go out and make plays. Is that something we'll hopefully see in the preseason game this week?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I mean, you're going to have the starters playing probably for 3 series. So I expect to see it a little bit. I don't put too much stock in what we see in preseason after those starters go out in terms of what we'll see from the Ryan Nielsen defense. But I think so far, if you're doing a report card on the defense, you're seeing them play faster. You're seeing them play more aggressive. It feels like they get it, Brian. Those are sort of the boxes you wanted to check during preseason until the regular season started.
You know, John, I'm trying to think of a time where the Jaguars have added a coordinator on either side of the ball where there has been great anticipation of what would happen, and it would happen so quickly. I mean, it's almost as if the minute he showed up here, everything changed. So it's interesting to watch everybody on this defense figure out their role, whether it's Chad Muma, who's had a really good preseason stepping into that strong side role. We'll get a chance to look at Darnell Savage for the first time, and the word on him is he is made to play nickel in this defense because he's a guy who can play man in the middle or he can play in a zone package. He is a very versatile interior defensive back who we haven't seen except in a very limited fashion so far.
Our second big thing today going to be moving up. We've talked a lot to you about some of the second-year players, Parker Washington, Tank Bigsby, but we've seen some of the rookies really showing out, and one of them in particular, Mason Smith, that second-round pick, and he talked a little bit about what he's been learning in training camp.
Consistency. Coming into the next level, that's something that I really wanted to focus on, just not being up and down and, not having a great game and then coming back and then having a great game. So it's just, more about being more consistent. And I think that still applies to this day, like, just being able to stay playing at a high level each and every game, each and every practice. You got to bring it every day in this league. So just being able to do that and continuing to grow in that aspect.
Brian, he's working on that consistency. If we get to see the high end of Mason Smith every day, that pick's going to be a home run.
I've said it before, but when they drafted him in the second round, it reminded me instantly of Chris Jones, who slid into the second round back in 2016, of Jeffrey Simmons, who slid a few years ago down into the bottom of the first round, both of whom had the same pedigree, both of whom had the same size speed, both of whom were disruptive playmakers in college. It's high praise, and it's not yet earned. But when you start to see how big he is, how long he is, how impressive he is in terms of his work ethic, and the fact that at times he's been unblockable on the practice field out there, you could see where this could be the lightning in a bottle, home run kind of draft pick that the Jaguars have long looked for in the middle of their defensive line, John.
Yeah, I think fans still wonder about Mason Smith because the sample size in preseason games has been limited. So it can be tough for a defensive interior guy to make that huge impact play when there's a small number of plays. But as Brian said, there have been times during practice where he's starting to come on. He's starting to do things that make you think, okay, over the course of a season, we're going to see that as he gets more comfortable, as he starts to learn his surroundings, as he learns about matchups. Really, the top two draft picks sort of have followed the same line during training camp practices. Brian Thomas Jr. and Mason Smith. Feels like they're starting to get it. Again, I usually expect little from rookies. I think these guys are going to contribute.
Our final big thing today going to be open spots. So we know that C.J. Beathard left preseason game number 2 with a groin injury. He's been ruled out for this week. Reports are that E.J. Perry, who's been a backup in the system, will be back in the building as well. Now, John, does that automatically open up a roster spot there? If they were to carry 3 quarterbacks, what are we kind of looking at long term with the quarterback situation?
Well, it feels, and this is pure speculation, E.J. Perry did sign it. I just got an email on my trusty iPhone. It feels, Brian, like it may be C.J. Beathard either go into injured reserve to start the season, because you can get 2 guys through that this year. You don't have to end their season by putting them on IR before the 53 comes out. So maybe Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones backup, put C.J. on injured reserve if you want to take that route with E.J. Perry as your practice squad short-term emergency. That's one scenario. I don't know if that's the path they're going to take.
Well, obviously, it depends on how things shake out on Friday night. If there are any other injuries to players that you really need to get through, as opposed to a guy like CJ that you're thinking is your practice squad third quarterback, maybe that isn't available to them. But I get what you're saying. You need to have a guy who can operate the practice squad, the scout team. And that looks like it could be E.J. Perry, because for an older guy like C.J. Beathard, a groin can be something that takes a little while to get through. This could force the Jaguars' hands at the quarterback position.
Stay with us here on Jags AM. Coming up after the break, we're going to hear from defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen and what he had to say about what he's seen from his players during training camp.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market, because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinders home. How about 2.99% in year one in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year one and a beautiful new Dreamfinders home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval! Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Jaguars tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Jags fans, a new Everbank Performance account could be your ticket to London this October. Through the Everbank London Getaway, one lucky winner and a guest will receive round-trip airfare, hotel accommodations, and a pair of tickets to see the Jags play in London. To learn more and for official rules, visit everbank.com/London. No person necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of 50 United States and D.C. 18 or older. Entry period for the Everbank London Getaway Suites is from 8/5/24 to 9/5/24. To enter and for official rules, alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
See Fields first, Jacksonville's premier luxury auto group. Go to fieldsauto.com. Welcome back into Jags AM. We heard from defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen yesterday, and he has a lot to say. He's definitely a quotable guy. When talking about trying to whittle down this roster and what he's looking for in implementing this new scheme, he talked about how the players are taking to it.
The knowledge of the scheme, feel like they're doing a great job. The players, our coaching staff, that combination of those guys working in the meetings, things like that, picking things up. Walkthrough was awesome today. Those guys were on top of it, really locked in, fired up about the the direction that it's going in terms of the whole combination of everything. But yeah, we're going to keep pushing every day.
Keep pushing them every day, but they have to make those roster decisions soon.
Yeah, they do. I kind of mentioned it in the first block with John. I'm struggling to remember a defensive coordinator or a coordinator on either side of the ball that's come in with high expectations that has delivered such immediate results. They're training camp preseason, so we got to get to the regular season to see it. But I talked to Corey Robinson yesterday, who coaches the cornerbacks, and Chad Muma yesterday, and the way that they communicated what this defense is, how they're working through it with Ryan Nielsen, their enthusiasm for what's possible. John, I don't think it's ever happened here in Jacksonville that the expectation has been this high and the delivery has been so quick.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to sit on a show and say it's delivered when they have Miami sitting there week 1, and we'll see if it's delivered. But everything you're talking about is real. The communication, how it feels, how these players feel confident in what they're doing. That's the first step. I think they have the right personnel in place. I think they know the defense. I think it fits. I guess we'll see in a month.
Shall. We talked a bunch about Mason Smith, Jordan Jefferson we've seen flashes from now that he's healthy and back out there. Nielsen also talked about that interior defensive line and the depth that they have.
Guys have done a really good job. Jeremy Garrett, he's done an excellent job with those guys, fundamentals, technique-wise, getting them to play really hard. So yeah, it's going to be a tough decision. Excited about all the guys at that position, really, and we've rolled 3-4 guys at the nose and tackle position in all these games. So it's been pretty good. So we'll see when it comes down to that time, and really right now have no idea.
I mean, that might be some of the more difficult roster decisions, John. We saw a heavy rotation there, but even, players that we've seen a lot of, Roy Robertson-Harris was playing deep into that first game, played a good chunk of the second game as well. So people aren't secure at a spot necessarily.
No, I don't think they're secure, and there's been a lot made of the Roy situation. It feels like what they're saying is right, meaning Roy didn't play much during OTAs, if at all, with an injury. So they're trying to get him reps, trying to get him up to speed. There's always talk among fans about what they don't do in the offseason. Well, they didn't add enough here or there. I'll tell you what they did do. They went hard at making this a stouter defensive front. Jordan Jefferson, Mason Smith, Eric Armstead, adding to what was already Devon Hamilton, Josh Hines-Allen, and Trayvon Walker. Brian, I just listed off 7 or 8 guys who you feel like you don't have to get exotic to stop the run around here. That's important because if you can stop the run, just doing your basic things frees everything up. I know it's what they want to do. It sure feels like they're stouter than they were in the last 6 games last year.
I don't see Roy Robertson-Harrison not being here, right? I think he is here, and I think if you start thinking about roster spots, that might cost a 6th linebacker or a 4th running back or a 5th safety, someone else somewhere else that the coaching staff wanted to carry, but they were so, what's the right word, ineffective, poor, bad against the run at the end of the year last year in that game that could have decided the playoffs. I don't think you can let a big guy like Roy Robertson-Harris get away from you. Now, Mason Smith is going to be really good, and Jordan Jefferson shows signs of being a really good young football player as well. You want them on your roster, you want them contributing, but you also need Roy Robertson-Harris, I think.
Yeah, they're not there quite yet, some of those young guys. Also, Nielsen talked a little bit about, we talked this week was more like a practice week, as you would see in the regular season, as they work on game planning specifically for the Falcons, but also maintaining their identity.
You don't want to lose the focus that it's about us, it's about Jacksonville. What you do want to focus on is kind of what it looks like. This is what a reach block looks like. This is what a fade route looks like, or a particular route, a particular run play. But when you look at the league, it's a lot of the offenses are very similar, right? And so what we want to do is we want to show our players, here's what it's going to look like. But hey, let's really focus on our alignments, our assignments, and our fundamentals, and how we have success versus these plays. So yeah, so we're game planning a little bit in terms of kind of who they are, what they do, but we'll always, and this will go through, and it's always a focus about us and what we do, how we think, how we act, how we play.
always want to play the best style for yourself, but it is important to game plan for your opponent. Nielsen talking a little bit there. Brian, what do you learn from your team when you finally start game planning and going over these schemes? It gets a little more complicated than just going out there and doing what, playing football.
Yeah, you want to see them carry it over, right? From the meeting room to the practice field to the game field to execute the specific assignments that they're given. The hard part about this week, guys, that we know that the Falcons are not going to play many of their frontline guys. And so some of the game planning elements that they work on the field aren't going to be quite as impactful as if you're trying to stop Bijan Robinson, right? Or Kyle Pitts or Drake London, those great players. However, it does give you an opportunity to be able to take the young players through the process of what a game plan week looks like, what a normal regular season week of preparation looks like, and then execute on Friday night, no matter who you're playing against.
Yeah, it's become interesting during preseason since they went to 3. There used to be sort of a best practices in the NFL that nobody would play anybody week 1, et cetera. You'd get to week 3, you'd play starters through a half and game plan. And now everybody's sort of approaching it differently. So I think what Ryan Nielsen talked about is what you have to do week 3 these days. You want a game plan. You want to do your routine. They call it a dress rehearsal. Make this week for players as much like a game week as possible so that the rookies know where the bathrooms are. And so once you establish that, then I think these days, whereas maybe 4 or 5 years ago you would game plan a little hard for this, I think now you game plan because you want the rookies and young players to know what it's like to game plan, to go through that routine. I don't think you're as worried about how it looks on Friday, because I don't think you necessarily know who you're playing anymore. So it's very important for the rehearsal and the routine, but they still want to work on themselves because there's still a little practice time these days.
Listen, and I get that. I would wonder, though, if it doesn't change Doug Peterson's approach to some of his starters to be in there playing against guys who are likely going to be looking for, practice squad spot somewhere else or a job, right? Because they're at the bottom end of the roster and they're going to be out of football.
Well, they'll be finding a job. It'll be at Macy's.
Wherever it is. But you get my point. Is, do I really want my frontline guys out there playing against guys who are desperate to make a play so they might hang on there? If I'm Doug Peterson, I'm like, yeah, let's get a series or two. And I think Doug did kind of allude to this on Monday when he said, we'll see how it goes, right? At some point you're like, yeah, let's not risk that. So you almost want to get the coaches together and go, hey, look, in that third preseason game, right, can we agree we're going to play some guys, right? Or we're not going to play anybody, which sounds like collusion. But the reality of it is that you would like to not risk starting football players against guys who are going to make desperation moves.
We'll talk a little bit more about that after the break. Coming up, we're going to do this or that as we look ahead to the final preseason game.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinder's home. How about 2.99% in year 1 in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year 1 and a beautiful new Dreamfinder's home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
You've got to watch your NFL team every Sunday, and Verizon's got you covered for all your team's out-of-market games every Sunday afternoon.
Come on!
From kickoff to sign-off, from first downs and touchdowns
That's right.
to turnovers
No!
and overturned plays.
After review, the pass was incomplete.
Nice! Let's go!
This season, win every Sunday with Verizon. Get a great deal on NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV and a new phone. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
Hey Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why they've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly. Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Jaguars tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars. Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a Zip Chair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields, and we have some great news. Fields has the vehicle you want, in stock, priced right, and ready for delivery.
Fields Auto Group is Jacksonville's luxury automotive destination for Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Inventory is back and available for immediate delivery.
And every Fields customer can take advantage of our Fields Amenities program with complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes. You deserve the best.
Stop by today or go to fieldsauto.com.
For 11 years, Dreamfinders Homes has been proud to call themselves the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all of the available inventory, and go Jags.
Third and final preseason game, we usually let the starters play a little bit more. And again, it depends on the circumstance and the way the game goes, but you'd love to get maybe 2 quarters, out of them. But we do take a look at Atlanta a little bit, and we simulate a game week schedule-wise now that camp is broke, and that's probably the only reason these weeks are important to get the guys no longer in the hotel, they're living at home, transportation here, all that kind of stuff. It simulates and sort of feels like a game week.
This or that. This or that.
Two very different philosophies. We're going to do a little this or that. Doug Peterson very much in the camp of play your starters during the preseason. As we mentioned, the Falcons are not going to be doing that whatsoever in this game. I think the Bears have also come out and said they're not going to do it. Sean McVay very notoriously doesn't like to do it with his players. Where do you guys land on this? I think it depends a little bit about what kind of team that you have, but are you rest everybody so they don't get hurt, or you play them because that's their job and they should play?
I'm playing guys, and I'm trying to put them in situations where they can get accustomed to the speed of the game, because you don't practice full speed like you play, and the physical side of it. I mean, ask Baselli the next time you see him. He'll tell you, all these guys will tell you that you have to get ready for the physical side of the game. Now, they don't want you to kill them and make them play 2 quarters of all 3 games, but they do need some time on the field to get ready for the regular season so that caliber of play doesn't look like preseason ball.
I think it's a little case by case. Generally, with most teams, I would probably play them the way Doug does, meaning I like how he does whenever you're not doing a duel, go ahead and play him for a couple of series. The weeks you do a duel, really use that work. That makes sense in terms of getting the right number of snaps. If I was a coach and had a super high functioning side of the ball, I probably would err on the way that the Chiefs seem to be doing it, which is to not play their guys all that much during the preseason. Beyond that, I think the benefits of being ready, of having those juices, all that stuff, I think usually I would play guys about the way Doug does it, because it's football. You got to be ready for it.
John, do you feel like because of the way they practice now with less padded practice that these games become more important?
No, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say preseason games are important. I think they're uber important for evaluation. I think in terms of prepping for the regular season, realistically, we're in a phase right now where you're always going to see the first 3 weeks of the regular season be some almost shaking off the rust. Because it's just never going to be again where you feel like you can take 6 games and hit and be ready. I just never think we're going back to that. So I always think tackling early in the season and some functionality I always think there's going to be a little bit of rust to knock off the first 2 weeks.
I do think that the way that they practice has a negative impact on the game in terms of the physical side of it.
They can't tackle.
No, I know.
Right.
I mean, you see that. You
Right.
see that. But so I do think that that's why you've got to have these preseason games and get time. Because otherwise, the first month of the season looks like the preseason, and the networks aren't paying for it. The fans aren't paying for that. You have a duty to get teams ready so that the regular season looks like regular season football and not preseason. Hey, look, it's a tough physical game. Guys get hurt. You can't change that, right? I mean, look at how safe they've made the helmet and the head, how they've taken it out of the game, and you still have guys getting concussions. Anton Harrison suffered one in practice out here. It speaks to the nature of the game, which is as hard as you work to be safe and secure in it, it is not a safe and secure game. So I'm going to err on the side. I'm going to be cautious with guys, right? I'm going to know Christian Kirk has a calf. I'm not going to play him, right? But I'm going to get my guys in there and get time from them because I need them to be ready to go on opening day. And I want my guys to be better than the guys across from them on opening day. So I don't care what the Rams do. I don't care what the new age coach does. I'm going to take the old school approach, and I'm going to play some guys in August.
Brian's hard-nosed coach.
I just, listen, you can't get away from the fact that football is it's a gladiator game. You can't make it basketball on grass, and I think we're kind of getting to that in August.
Let's move things along. We're going to talk a little bit about the offensive line because Pro Football Focus, with their rankings coming out, says one of the Jaguars is the best offensive lineman so far in the preseason, offensive player of the week even, Cole Van Lanen. Would you have guessed if I gave you 5 guesses who it was going to be?
No.
Probably not. And I'm sure Cole played fine. I don't know if the offensive line played to know whether he did or not. Sometimes I don't know exactly how PFF grades on that front. But a credit to him.
Listen, they have so many grades, and I don't understand. I get it that there are people who play high-end fantasy football and probably some gambling, methodology in there somewhere. But they have so many grades, and none of them are relative to me. I don't know what the grade means.
Well, let's say Cole had a great game. I'm sure he played well. I'm going to use that kind of move into our other this or that, which is there's a couple examples specifically on the offensive and defensive line where there's a veteran that's been here and knows your system very well, but there's also maybe a first, second-year player that has a high ceiling but maybe hasn't gotten there just yet. When you are where you are with the Jaguars, which is win now, according to Shad Khan, do you err on the side of, hey, this person already knows their system, but maybe they're not going to get much better than they already are, or do you, with a proven vet, or do you kind of take that younger guy and hope they come along this year or next year and get you there?
I didn't catch the scenario off the top. Is the guy that I'm thinking about moving on from a starter, or is he a backup? Is he Orlando Ledbetter, right? Or is he Roy Robertson Harris?
He is, it could be either. It could be Jeremiah Ledbetter. It could be Roy Robertson Harris. But I'm talking maybe a Cole, maybe a Cole Van Lanen who is, you looking at maybe you're behind Walker Little, like right there filling in if someone's hurt again, or are you working more with a Javon Foster hoping he gets there sooner?
I'm going more with Javon Foster trying to develop him. I'm going more with Jordan Jefferson and Mason Smith over Jeremiah Ledbetter. Nothing against Ledbetter. He's 31 years old, right? Van Lanen's been around here for a couple of years. And, I mean, maybe the PFF grade says he's a star. I haven't seen it, right? He's not in danger of cracking my starting lineup. To me, he's a cusp guy, right? I'm moving on. I'm going with youth because it's a young man's game.
I think what you do here is you essentially usually carry about 8 or 9 offensive linemen. Say you carry 9. You have your starting 5. You have 2 developmental guys in Javon Foster and in Cooper Hodges, who are young guys. And then you want to make sure you have 2 swing guys in Walker Little and maybe Shatley.
Yeah, maybe.
Hopefully, in some cases, your young developmental guy can be your swing guy as well. And then what you want is maybe where Cole fits. Cole Van Lanen, Tyler Shatley, Williams, Darrell. You want 4 or 5 guys who you can move to the practice squad, feel good about the totality of that. If you lose one, okay, well, good luck to you. But so that you have some guys you can rotate in that are sort of interchangeable. So I think that's what you try to do. I'm not trying to avoid the question, but I think that's the approach you try to take in this day and age where you can act like the practice squad is a little more part of your roster.
Shatley's a culture guy. I'm keeping Shatley because he is, well, first of all, he's one of the quarterbacks guys, right? And it always helps to have them. Plus, he's just a great guy to have in the locker room, but I need young and promising as opposed to, hey, maybe this guy can play if we need him.
This is where all the puzzle pieces come together as the roster comes
Yep.
together. We'll talk a little bit more about it tomorrow as we get closer to that deadline, but a lot of different things in play for sure. Stay with us here on Jags and we'll be right back, preview the rest of the week.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinder's home. How about 2.99% in year one in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year one and a beautiful new Dreamfinder's home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
Hey Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why they've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly. Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Jaguars tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
You've got to watch your NFL team every Sunday, and Verizon's got you covered for all your team's out-of-market games every Sunday afternoon.
Come on!
From kickoff to sign-off, from first downs and touchdowns to turnovers and overturned plays.
After review, the pass was incomplete.
Let's go!
This season, win every Sunday with Verizon. Get a great deal on NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV and a new phone. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
Jags fans, if you want customized Jaguars furniture for your home, check out zipchair.com to browse all the customizable options. ZipChair is furniture for fans. Welcome back to Jags and we're wrapping things up as we get ready for preseason game number 3. We'll be in Atlanta on Friday. I have all access tonight. That is back. We'll be at String Sports Brewery tonight, right down the street from John. Maybe he'll wander down if I can bribe him into it. No?
Maybe. We'll see.
Are you buying?
Long day.
Maybe Logman will. He's a very generous guy. What are you guys looking forward to? Obviously, we'll see the starters a little bit. I'm just hoping maybe the offense gets, a good, solid scoring drive or two and then gets them out of there. What are you guys hoping to see?
I want to see the defense continue to elevate, right? To continue to play fast and make plays. I mean, last week we saw all the 2s and 3s, and they looked good. They looked fluid in a defense that's new to them. I'd like to see some of the starters, again, get out of the game healthy. But for the time that they're in there, continue to keep the level of it up?
Yeah, maybe watch those top 3 rookies, Thomas, Jerry and Jones, and Mason Smith, to see if now that we're a couple weeks away from the regular season, Falcons aren't playing any starters, look for them to look like they belong.
How many roster spots do we think? I know we'll get into this a little bit next week too, but how many are up for? Is anybody going to win themselves a roster spot on Friday night?
Only if they're in a neck-and-neck battle, right? I mean, what do you figure there are? 4 or 5 spots that are legitimately open at this point? Not counting the practice squad, which we've said, right, with 16 players. But, yeah, I mean, if you got... I go back to Stacey Mack in 2000. He made an incredible play in the preseason finale in Dallas and had like a 79-yard reverse touchdown run. They ended up keeping him that year, and they needed him, and he played pretty well. So he wasn't going to make the roster originally, but that play was the difference. But he was right there neck and neck with a couple of other guys.
Yeah, last running back, last wide receiver, defensive line. Sure, there are roster spots up for grabs, I would say. I think anybody who loses a last-second battle is probably going to be on the practice squad. So it's a little disingenuous to say they're not going to be here. They'll still be part of it. But making those decisions on the 53, you can make them tougher.
Very good. All right, we'll be back with you here on Jags AM tomorrow as we look ahead to that final roster cut and the final preseason game of the year.